Are you allowed to change your mind and keep the baby? That would break the parent's heart. My name is Yesenia, and I'm currently almost 34 weeks as a surrogate or a gestational carrier. Typical base compensation for surrogates range from $40,000 to $50,000 for the first time being a surrogate. Base compensation starts at baby's heartbeat, and you get this payment divided into 10 payments. Also, when you're a surrogate, all your medical bills are paid for. Your insurance is paid every month. And many times, intended parents are so generous they send gifts. Will you be able to see the baby afterwards? So this answer is different for every single family. Many families are international families. The family that I work with is only one state away, and I will be able to see the baby in the future for birthday parties and things like that. But this question really depends on the intended parents that you match with. Next question, who pays for all of the surrogate's legal fees? So the parents pay for all of my legal fees for this process. So I get to obtain my own lawyer of my choosing, and they have to pay all the fees. Next question is, how many times can you be a surrogate? So this is different for every single person, but I've seen somebody be a surrogate up to 4 times. It depends on how many C-sections and pregnancies that you've had as an individual. But for me personally, I would love to be a surrogate again one day, but I'm not sure the timeline for that. So next question, do the parents pay for maternity clothing? The answer is yes. For my specific contract, I got $800 for maternity clothing. All contracts are different, but for mine, I got $800 at 14 weeks to go through all my maternity clothes. If you have twins, you could get more money for this. Next question, do you have to have kids to be a surrogate? The answer is yes. You must have at least one child that you are parenting to be a surrogate. If you are a mom that gave a baby up for adoption, you would not be eligible to be a surrogate.
She answers her most asked questions.
So what happens if the surrogate baby dies? This is a really good question. So in my specific contract, I get paid monthly. So for example, if you get $50,000, you get $5,000 a month for 10 months. So if you don't have heartbeat confirmation, you don't get your first payment of the $50,000 until you have heartbeat confirmation. So for example, I get paid every 4 weeks, and if I lost the baby at 20 weeks, that's when my payments will stop. And all contracts are different. So if I make it to 30 weeks, regardless if the baby lives or not, I will get my full payment. So when you are a surrogate, do the intended parents get to make medical decisions for you, such as getting an epidural? The short answer is no. I get to make my own decision if I can have an epidural or not. As a surrogate, I'm allowed to choose my own OBGYN and hospital. Can a surrogate have an abortion? So most of the time, this is talked about before contracts and during the matching process. For my specific contract, the parents can ask me to have an abortion at any time. They would only want to do it for certain medical reasons, but not for twins or anything like that. But if the baby does have a life-altering disease or things like that, the parents would like to have an abortion in my case. So when you're in the matching process, a surrogate can say, I'm not okay with having an abortion for any reason, and the parents would have to be okay with that if they choose her to be the surrogate. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the parents' choice whether the surrogate has an abortion or not, because it is their child. And it's something you have to consider when becoming a surrogate. Hey, so this is a really good question. Are you allowed to change your mind and keep the baby? So the short answer is no. There are so many contracts before the birth of the baby. The contract I signed with the family, even before I got pregnant, is more than 30 pages long. And then there are more contracts done during pregnancy. So I would not be able to keep the baby. I would never want to keep the baby. The baby is not my DNA. The baby is 100% the DNA of his mom and dad, and I would never even want to keep the baby because that would break the parent's heart. It's just something that I'm doing for others, and I would never want to keep the baby.
This is just incredible. I mean, what a beautiful and selfless act. And we're not the only ones in awe of her either. One of her followers said, I think it takes a very special person to be a surrogate. Speaking from experience of infertility, I know you will make a family so happy. And Yesenia replied, I can't wait. Only a few weeks left for me. Wow, a few weeks. I'm scared for her. But we want to wish her all the best of luck with the rest of her pregnancy. As always, thanks for watching It's Gone Viral.